Dan, head of youth, that's correct. I've got it right.
It is.
Right, okie dokie. We're talking to you ahead of the cup final against Maidstone United at St George's Park tomorrow. The second year in succession that York City have been, I was going to say fortunate enough, but you've got to earn your place in these finals.
Yeah, you do. I think the Academy Cup's one that, to be fair, we target a little bit. We talk about it at the start of the season. We talk about that and the FA Youth Cup realistically as tournaments we want to do well in. So I think there's like a really big motivation for the boys throughout the year that when those games come up, we're trying to win them. Development comes first most of the time, and for league games development comes first. I think for those cup games we know what the experiences look like at the end of them. They're important to have as part of the kids' journey, so yeah, we've worked hard for that one.
How many players have we got in part of this squad that were there last year?
They're actually a part of the squad, about half of them, but in terms of boys that actually started the game last year, I think there's only one maybe that started the game last year that's still here. There's a couple that came on as subs, but it's a really big turnover really from last year's squad to this year's squad. It's a young squad this year, a really young squad.
What's it like then, being in the final but going to St George's Park where of course England do all their preparation for all their matches?
It's really good for the boys, I think, just to see it, just to have some different experiences. We play similar teams most of the year. When you go to like the home of football, it's a real motivator for the boys to see what that part of the game looks like, the real like top end professional elite part of the game. The grass is good, the training facilities are good, everything about there is looked after. I think, yeah, it's just nice for them to be able to see what that looks like.
Talk us through the day then. They get some time to enjoy the facilities, enjoy the surroundings.
Yeah, a little bit. So we're travelling up tomorrow on the team coach. We're gonna got a couple of pickups to do on the way, but when we get there, we're gonna have a bit of food. I think at the hotel, the football centre, there's another game on before us. I think with a regional cup final, so the boys might get a chance to watch a little bit of that. But yeah, they'll have time to walk around, see what the pitches look like. I think St George's Park staff are quite militant on where you're allowed to be, but yeah, within reason they can have a real good look around and see what it looks like. So yeah.
Which pitch do you play on? Do you know?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. They're all numbered, but we're on the same pitch we were last year. So I believe it's like the second pitch at St George's Park. The main pitch, I think, is mainly for the men's and women's national teams. But yeah, this is the next like show pitch with a bit of a stand. There's a few hundred seats there, so yeah, it's pretty good.
In the lead up to this game then, do you have to discuss all this with the players just to make sure they're not a little bit overawed when they go and play there?
We don't, to be honest. Whether that's an oversight, I'm not sure. I think we've probably got quite a grounded group of boys. I think we're probably quite good as well at just, they're in the zone for the game. I think it's a piece of grass with 22 players on. The reality is, wherever you go, that bit doesn't change. They've played at stadiums before, they've played in FA Youth Cups before. So, you know, we're hoping that shouldn't be an issue, really.
And how much research do you have to do on the opposition? As I say, it's opposition that you don't normally play in Maidstone.
Yeah, dependent, to be honest. For being honest, we've not done loads this time. We've really focused in on us, on how we play. We think we're playing really well at the moment as a group. We think if we can get our bits right, we don't need to worry as much about the opposition as maybe we would in previous years. But the group's in a good place, and I think that's reflective of what work we've done.
You say you sort of highlight this at the start of the season, the two cup competitions. What did it mean to that set of lads last year that you were able to win the tournament?
I think it's memories for life, that sort of stuff, and it's really nice that when I'm looking in like the semi-finals, the quarter-finals, some of the team that won it last year have been coming to watch those games. I think there's a group of them coming tomorrow to watch, which is amazing, and you speak to them, it's something they always talk about. I think it's also like the lads who probably start tomorrow, a massive group that weren't even in the squad last year but travelled, and they saw what that looked like, and that's been a huge motivator for them as well. So
is it good as well that you've been put through some pressure moments in the early round? You had a penalty shootout win, didn't you? And they've been relatively close games.
Yeah, I think the penalty shootout win against Guys, I think it was a bit of a banana skin moment actually, because we'd really dominated the game. Like, we thought we were really strong, really on top. We should have won it in normal time, didn't. I think sometimes when that happens in games, you feel like we've missed our chance, and they didn't. They just looked really confident. We're always confident that Sam was going to save some penalties, and the boys took care of their penalties as well, which was great. Games against Blythe as well. Again, I think we did really well in them. These weren't teams that are struggling in the league. These are like top 2, top 3 teams in our league. A lot of older boys, a lot of 19-year-olds in their groups. So yeah, to come through those challenges is really good.
And the players you've got, if it was a first team match, we'll be talking about injuries and the players that are going to miss out. I imagine you've got a similar situation here, have you, or is everyone fit and available for this game?
I think we've only got one missing tomorrow, which is Alex Hernandez in terms of injury. Alex hasn't played with the squad much this year at all though, so in terms of being a miss. I'm not sure. We're not used to having him this year. He's had a bad year for injuries, and we're hoping we're coming to the end of that and we see the best of Alex next season. But no, everyone else is fit and available.
In your league season as well, talk us through how you think that's gone this season.
Been really pleased actually. I think it's always a strange league. Ours in that it's an under-19s league, and every club looks at it differently. You've got clubs in there that are desperate to do everything they can to win. You turn up and there's 17, 18, 19-year-old men, and we're turning out. And we've got under-16s registered in ours that are like we're trying to get out of school. They're missing GCSE geography, and they're playing against men. So it's something we think we've done really well, and we've got a really young group. I even look at our second years. Bill, Harley, Alex, they've played like lots of games. None of them have turned 18 yet. They're like babies in their year. So we're a really young group. We rarely have an 18-year-old on the pitch, or certainly not more than a couple. So they've done really well within that league.
I know the first team manager, Adam Hinchelwood's going to go and watch the players tomorrow, and he's talked to us, and I think people will have read about how he wants to develop the youth at this football club. Now he wants to bring youth team players through. First of all, that must be a boost to hear that and to know that he's going to go and support the boys tomorrow.
Yeah, it is, but it's not unusual, to be honest. He was on the minibus up to Blythe a few weeks ago. He's been to, I think, the vast majority of our 19s games since he's been in. But I think it's really motivated the lad since he's arrived. There's been a bit of a glass ceiling in terms of, I think, development over the last few years. I think Adam's smashed that glass ceiling wide open. I think that's reflected in the boys' performances. They've been brilliant, certainly through the last couple of months, and yeah, Gaffer just he's there. He's quite relaxed about it, to be honest. He doesn't get overly involved. He comes, he watches, he gives us feedback afterwards. He knows all the boys by name. I think they've all been in one of his training sessions since he's come in. So yeah, really helpful to us. Really helpful.
Because for a football club the size of York City, these guys should be the lifeblood of this football club, and it's so long now since York City have managed really to bring anyone through from the youth team, from the academy, to actually play regularly in the first team.
Yeah, no, I think that's like a fair reflection. Not for the lack of trying from the academy either. I think probably a lack of alignment, I think, would be the biggest thing in terms of have we had real long-term plans around the young people coming through that link them from us to first team. I don't think we have, or certainly not anything like we've got now. I think now there's a genuine plan. I think the manager's coming down on Thursday to meet the 15s and 16s. He wants to speak to them about what the long-term plan of the football club looks like. That's never happened before, and it's all things we'd have liked to have happened. It just hasn't got there. I think things are going to be really different moving forward, and hopefully in a couple of years' time the conversation's we've not had any come through. We've got so many that have come through, and it's working. And I think the academy staff, the players, the parents are looking forward to that.
And do you see the potential in this group for maybe a handful of them to go on and get first team contracts and to maybe start playing out there on a Saturday afternoon for York City?
I think they've got to be given the opportunity to shine. I think you never know what young people are going to do until they're put into that situation. The start for that is like, what do they look like in training when they're putting against the first team? Some will freeze, and we need to help them with that. Some will just shine and blow you away, and I think some of them are already doing that. So yeah, why not? That's up to them, and I think they've got the opportunity now that the gaffer's in place and we have plans around them. They've got the opportunity, so why not?
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Hi Dan, so you got the Academy Cup final up tomorrow. First of all, playing at St George's Park, how good could that be for development of these young players?
I think it's just really good. I think we talk about experience as being really important for young people, and having some like varied experiences and some rich experiences. I think playing at St George's Park, fantastic. Just the facilities, the environment. It feels like real football. It feels like the sort of day you want to be in football for. And I think that's reflective last year of how that looked for the young people that took a lot from it, and I think the motivator for the boys that were involved last year to go back and do it again is really high. So yeah.
So does it help the players knowing that the club was there last season, so yourself and the management team know how it all works?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's like a big part of the group that was there last year as well, so not a lot of them got lots of minutes, but the experience, they know what the day looks like a little bit. So yeah, I think it helps, but it's a game, football against another team. Wherever you play it, whether that's the LNR, St George's Park, the training ground, it's a game of football, and I think that's the bit that the lads are really focused in on.
You've been in your role for quite a while now, I believe, so how do you sort of reflect on this season from a personal perspective?
I think we're always in my role like trying to plan long term. So all this looks like it's almost a culmination. I think when the lads are getting to the 18s, 19s, they've done really well. I've been really pleased with them. I think one of the things that's probably changed a little bit this year, which I'm really pleased about, is the way the academy's played over the last few years. Has always been like high possession football, quite attacking, looking after the ball. I think that's really like aligned with Adam since he's come into the club, so I think it's almost giving us some motivation to go even further with that, and I think that's reflected in all the teams, but certainly the youth team. The way they played football the last couple of months has been brilliant, and probably something we've been prepping for a while, to play like that, and I think the gaffers gave everyone the motivation to do that, so I think that's been like a really big positive out of this season.
Do you think getting to these cup finals helps in terms of recruitment? Because any young players out there who might want to potentially play for the Yorkshire Academy, they see that you can reach these stages?
Yeah, I think it's not something we plan for in terms of recruitment, but it certainly doesn't help. I think when you can point to being like successful in competitions you've targeted, like, people take note of that a little bit, I think. So yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, the vast majority of our recruitment for the 19s programme is done from our 16s. We hope that the vast majority of players have been with us for quite a few years. So but they're seeing what's happening in the years before them. I think they're the motivation is to follow it up, and hopefully we can win again, and I think then there's a little bit of pressure for next year, but I think once focus on tomorrow and go from there.
Talking to Adam Henshawood, obviously, how did those conversations come about with in terms of letting the youth players also train with the first team?
So very much Tim, the youth team coach, and the gaffer will speak on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis. Some of it will be like highly planned for who, why, when, what position do they play. Some of it's a little bit more, someone's missing, someone's ill, we need someone to fill in this position, that position. So yeah, they're very much conversations on a day-to-day basis between Tim and the first team staff.
And training with the first team, how will that help the players with their development?
I think it's just a window into what it looks like. We'd like to think they're as well prepared as they can be, some of the boys, to go in and do that. But when they go in, I think it just shines a spotlight on them in terms of, one, like, most of them go in the court, which is great, and I think it gives them a really big boost of confidence. But there's also lessons to be learned in every session for them, playing against the first team players, training with them, and the first team players are brilliant with them. You can't fault them in terms of the support they give them. If they need a kick in the backside, they get a kick in the backside. If they need an arm round, they get an arm round, but they're getting little bits of advice all the time. So really, really helpful.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
No problem.